It's the Exit 52 podcast for Sunday, October 12th, 7:44 p.m. We are brought to you, as always, by Jimmy's Famous Seafood and by our friends at Black Eyed Susan Spices, who on Saturday, November 15th, will be at Baltimore's hottest event, which is back for its second year, along with Peabody Heights Brewery presenting Never More Hot 2025, Baltimore's premier hot sauce festival. An event that is free to attend, offers a full afternoon of spicy entertainment. Come sample products from over 25 spicy vendors from all over the country, including many whose hot sauces have appeared on the hit YouTube sensation Hot Ones, a hit YouTube sensation just like us. There will also be spicy food specials, oysters, live music, a festival-exclusive hot sauce from the Black Eyed Susan Spice Company, the infamous Spicy Wing Challenge hosted by DEFCON Sauces, and Peabody Heights Brewery is releasing the festival-exclusive Fire Extinguisher Pilsner to go along with all their other delicious beers. All this plus the Dugout, one of the coolest arcades around, will ensure a spicy afternoon of tears and laughs that you and your friends won't soon forget. That's all at Nevermore Hot, Saturday, November 15th from noon to 6 p.m. at Peabody Heights Brewery in Baltimore. Follow the festival on Instagram at Nevermore Hot and check out the website, nevermorehot.com, for details. Sounds like a lot more fun than watching the Ravens the last couple of weeks. As they take another L today. My friend, my name is Jake Louque, and I'm joined by Spenny Slumber. We were talking before we got going here about how it felt like great football weather today. Seemed like things were finally feeling like fall a little bit, but it wouldn't feel like fall in 2025 if the Ravens did not lose in somewhat maddening fashion. I think we saw some good things today. I think we saw continued bad things. Felt like some steps were taken, some steps were not taken as we head into the bye week with the Ravens being 1-5. Pretty much a nightmare scenario here.
Yeah, couldn't be worse at 1-5. There's only one thing I could think of that would make it worse, and John Harbaugh has the hope that Lamar Jackson will be back after the bye. So, yeah, it's the Lamar Jackson show. They don't have Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. They are 4-14 without him. Do I think that's an aberration? No. No, I don't. I think most teams struggle when their franchise quarterback goes down. I think the Ravens could be better at, it's not able to steal one. They haven't stolen one in a while without the guy. But yeah, I mean, we can talk about today's game. We can talk about all those things. We have the bye week. But yeah, when you go look on paper and you look at the feel of this game, I think it lines up a little bit. The Ravens ran for 179 yards on 37 carries, with their longest carry being a 19-yard Tyler Huntley scramble. Derrick Henry looked good. He looked like himself. The offensive line fired off the ball well. Conversely, you held the Rams to only 74 yards on 23 carries in a game where they led a lot, and their longest rush was 13 yards. Matt Stafford, 17 of 26, 181 yards and a touchdown. Weren't able to turn him over. Well, they did strip him, which was an awesome play by the big fella in there who looked so happy to touch the football. But, you out threw him a little bit. You did throw a pick. You saw your receivers make plays in space. You felt like your offensive line played better. They controlled the time of possession. I mean, I can't find it right here, but it was like at least like 36 minutes of possession, or excuse me, like 39 minutes of possession for the Ravens, if I'm not mistaken. You were better on third down. The Ravens were 7 of 17 on third down. The Rams were 4 of 10. The Ravens went for it on fourth down 6 times, only converted 2 of them, which has been painful. There were moments in this game. I do think the Rams, it felt like the classic West Coast team coming across the nation for the 1:00 kickoff. Matt Stafford, it looked like on ESPN, his hair was all messed up. He looked like he was sleepy. They played sleepy. The Ravens ran the ball down their throat to start the game. They couldn't score a touchdown, and Stafford missed throws. He missed Devontae Adams in the end zone. He wasn't able to convert a couple times as well, but you really point to one thing, like the Ravens are 1-5, Jake, and I think now it's impractical to say 0 fumbles, but if the Ravens had not fumbled this season, I think they would have 3 wins minimum. I think they would be in a good spot. Like, it all goes back to Buffalo and that Henry fumble. They fumbled again. They fumbled today. Zay Flowers fumbled. They fumbled 4 times, one getting called back, LaJohntay Wester, who completely redeemed himself. Was it 4 maybe? Zay Flowers kind of had 2 little weird ones there. There's a bunch of balls on the ground. And I will start by saying this, like the fumbles at the end of what I'll say is that it always ends up being on the coach. It is the coach's responsibility to preach ball security. I just genuinely am dumbfounded by guys that have been playing football. Zay Flowers has been playing football since he was 5 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, whatever. I mean, how many ball security drills have you done? How many times have you had coaches tell you to keep it high and tight, 4 points, like all that shit? So that's one thing that's driven me mad. I think sometimes it's a little bit of a result of trying to squeeze too much juice out of the fruit at times. Other times there's good punches, but today was unacceptable. There's 4 balls put on the ground. You got to back up quarterback in. I mean, the fumbles have already happened. Like, what, are they doing bad drills? I don't think so. Like, I just don't really understand. It's been a really bad issue. The Rams, like I said, left some meat on the bone, I think, especially early in this game offensively. But holy shit, the fumbles are out of control. You're going into the bye week. Like, that's why to me, that is why. The injuries are bad. Sure. Like, you've had bad game plans defensively. You're missing guys. The fumbles are unacceptable. They're out of control. Like, again, it's not eschewing John Harbaugh of responsibility or the coaching staff or Todd Monken or the running backs coach or blah, 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 blah. I just really, really think it's ridiculous how bad they are in terms of ball security and taking care of the football. As our friend Anthony Ronaldo likes to say, the ball is the team. The Ravens are not treating the ball like it's the team. Unacceptable fumbling wise. And it falls on the coaches at the end of the day to fix it. But what the hell is everybody on this team doing, man? What are the Baltimore Ravens doing putting the ball on the ground like this? It is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, how many times have they fumbled this year? 8? How many have they forced? 2? Like 9-2 maybe? I have to go look it up. Somebody in the chat, go look it up. The fumbling is preposterous. It's unacceptable. That is the one thing for, like, we can talk about the tush pushes, whatever. That is the one thing that is unacceptable. Putting the football on the ground so many times.
Yeah, that loses you this game, like, easily. You have the 2 in a row from Zay Flowers, which I think really was the dagger. And yeah, man, you're right. It's just, it feels like a systemic issue that I just have no idea how to fix. Like, I think you're right that coaching is probably part of it, but also, hey, these guys are professionals. And I tweeted, like, that is football is such a big team game. And there are elements as a player that you really cannot control. Ball security is like the number one controllable that you have. And it's the most important thing. And you're right, man. That Buffalo game without the Henry fumble, I feel like they probably do win that one. The Detroit game, maybe not, but who knows? A couple other ones that have happened, and especially the 2 today. It's just like, man, when you're so handicapped by injuries, and if you want to throw the injury excuse out there, sure, but like when you are in that situation, that makes it all the more important to take care of those little details. And it feels like a far cry from last year where we were talking about like weird timeouts and the weird John Harbaugh game management stuff. Shit, that's a problem I'd sign up for right now if it meant that these guys could handle a football and just take care of the most minimum, basic little details that will win you these games effectively. And yeah, maybe it's a bad handoff from Rush that leads to Zay fumbling the second time, but you have that first time where he's doing the jump cut and juke around and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. It's just, it leaves me at loss for words. Like I simply don't know what to say about it other than this team, if they can't get their shit together and even that way, like I know people want to point to the soft schedule out of the bye and everything, and maybe they do go on a run, maybe that sparks something, but if they can't get this under control, shit, good luck getting to a winning record before the end of the year. I don't know how you're going to manage it.
Right. And it's one thing going into this bye week that I don't care what their record is. I don't care who plays. They can't keep fumbling. You fumbled in Buffalo. You fumbled in Buffalo twice. You fumbled when you played Kansas City. The fumbles are they're the Baltimore fumbles, like the Baltimore Butterfingers. They keep putting the football on the ground so much. It is insane to me. So it's got to change. When you're in traffic, you have to protect the football. It has to be overemphasized in order to correct it. Is what it is. So with that aside, I mean, that is the sour note. I thought Tyler Linderbaum had his game of the season from what I saw in this one. I thought Voorhees looked good. I thought they just had better timing and got off the ball more effectively, and they used hard count early, and they were organized, and they weren't fighting the play clock much early. So I think it was a nice performance in that regard. The short yardage stuff on the goal line, I was literally sitting in the stands going, run, tush, push 4 times. Like, I don't know. Stanley goes out, and I know people are like, well, why are you running behind the backup left tackle? Rosengarten on the other side is not like an impact player. Somebody astutely was like, if Daniel Falele is 380 pounds, you can't run behind him. Like, what the fuck is he in the game for? Sure, I absolutely understand that. So they've been bad in power situations. And it's just, and then in terms of the conversations that you can have, of course, in hindsight, run, play, action, throw the ball. Oh, they throw the ball, it gets tipped, they get picked. I don't know. Like, to me, it was like, yeah, you're on the one, go tush push it 4 times, can't get it. So I think that does go to show that Jalen Hurts is a pretty strong guy, and maybe Mark Andrews is a little bit too tall to be trying to do all that. But they've done it successfully at times. Kohler, I think, has had more success. I don't know. Maybe they forced Mark Andrews into that position. It was one that was one issue that happened. I don't know, a couple weird penalties to begin, but overall, I felt like the offensive line did play better. They looked better. They got off the ball quicker and cleaner and more concisely. They opened up lanes for Henry, who ran for 120 odd yards in this game, looked like himself. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positives, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You're 1-5, and you've got to go do what you did last. Like, again, we've seen this coming. They've been heavy underdogs. They weren't going to win these games, barring, a little bit of razzle dazz, which it felt like they might have been able to pull out today, and they just pissed it away. But at this point, to me, like, it really is. I understand if Lamar Jackson's very dejected or feels a little bit maybe indifferent or numb in a way. Like, we probably overthink this stuff. I think we think about this shit as fans and, us doing our stupid podcast more than players do. But like, who's the last person that made something magical happen that wasn't Lamar Jackson? Like, Marlon Humphrey had a pick against the Steelers last year. It was kind of a gift. But like, what's the last magical thing that didn't involve Lamar Jackson? Like, what games have they stored back in where it wasn't Lamar Jackson doing it?
Probably Derrick Henry. And like, that's a little line dependent, right? As we've seen, and scheme dependent. And like, Jesus Christ, man, it might be Justin Tucker, like, which is crazy to think about.
Who's the last thing that did something magical, man? I mean, defensively, they look good to me. It looked good today. I think they had a nice plan. They were using the 3 safeties. I think it made them more confident to go rally and tackle to the football and feel good on the back end. I liked what they did defensively. It felt nice. I felt like they were way more decisive. They were mugging. They were bringing guys up to the line of scrimmage, and it felt clean, and it felt intentional, and it felt confident in who was dropping. The drops looked good. Stafford did a nice job not, turning the ball over, was able to dink and dunk a little bit, but you held them 17 points. You expect to be able to have a chance to win those games. So it is all good and dandy in that regard. Like, I'm very pleased with defensive progress, I guess is a way to put it. After getting some guys back, you get Roquan back, should only help out those young linebackers getting, trial by fire, especially Buchanan. And at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's very obvious to me at this point. Like 2023, I think the Ravens defense made a lot of magical moments, did a lot of big things, got off the field. They worked the 49ers on Christmas, all those things. And since then, it's just been the Lamar Jackson show. And I think today we see, like, offensively, and last week we see offensively, it isn't. I mean, 3 points and 10 points it's not good enough. It's not good enough at the end of the day. There's not a ton of creativity. It's a very, as we like to say, stock. It's very stock.
Pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Straightforward offense.
I'm hearing the guitar shit. It's pretty stock.
Yeah. And again, like, I'm getting into my 30s here. I'm 32 now. So like, I guess it's only, what I'm about to say is only going to continue to get louder in my head, no matter what, in any time, in any situation. But it's like, yeah, Derrick Henry did finish with, what did we have here? He finished with 24 carries. You ran the ball 37 times, and I think it wasn't enough. And
like, some of those being scrambles with Huntley at the end, that's an inflated number.
Yeah, he had 3, I think, scrambles. So it's like 34 for 140, which is good. Yeah. But it wasn't enough. I still don't think it was enough. Like,
especially with the push they were finally getting in the run game for the first time in weeks. Like,
I think back to that Mac Jones game where he only threw 3 passes, and it was like that was a first-round quarterback who has turned into, he's not lighting the world on fire, but definitely a capable quarterback, and he was young. But it's like, why the fuck don't just spam something? Spam the run game. You're getting, like you just said, they're getting push. Run the ball 50 times. I would have liked to see it really be ridiculous, a little more so. Again, like I just don't expect the Ravens to win these games, which isn't play like a Raven. Like that's not the core of what this franchise is. And these things we've been talking about a little bit more like high level perspective the last couple of weeks, like this team was notorious for having their quarterback go down and then beating you or being in a weird spot and beating you. They were the worst to play. Like it didn't matter who was playing for years and years and years. So it has turned into the Lamar Jackson show. I think again, it just all feels like scared to change, scared to do things, scared to make decisions, scared to get rid of people. Like, I don't know. I was just thinking, like, I commend Ronnie Stanley very, 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 very much for what he's gone through with his injury and taking a pay cut and all that stuff. But I was just thinking, like, man, maybe some other teams would have parted ways and taken an aggressive swing at left tackle and seen if they could get a younger player. I don't know. Like, he's fine.
Like Kansas City did with their line when they rebuilt it, like, completely after what happened to Mahomes in that Tampa Super Bowl. Like they're
too scared to change.
Yeah, they go and get Joe Tooney. They get Orlando Brown. Like they just totally rebuilt that whole operation. And, it doesn't last forever. And they're kind of going through it right now. Kansas City is, but they've gotten titles out of it. And a lot of that has to do with Mahomes and Reed. I get it, but maybe you could take some cues from that. That's something people like Voss have been saying for a long time. And I think to an extent, they're right. And yeah, it's just, you hang on to Roman for too long. You're afraid of change, and you pretty much waste a year in 2022 with him. Could have even got rid of him before that, maybe. I think some people would argue. And yeah, it just feels like as much as Harbaugh will say he's not going to make any changes to the staff, and Harbaugh's probably, if he were to be asked about his job security, I'm sure he'd say he feels very comfortable. It just feels like he's walking on eggshells. And the team, the way they carry themselves is fully reflective of that, with Henry fumbling in the Buffalo game and then fumbling against Detroit and just letting that.
It doesn't even, I would say it's not the eggshells, it's pressing. Like the fumbles are like, they're pressing. Zay Flowers is pressing. He made a great play. Like maybe he could score an 80-yard touchdown. He's pressing to go make those plays. I think it's like, because the margin for error is so small, they're just trying to overcompensate, and they just don't let the game come to them. They always have to be the one to push the game. Always, always, always. Well, we got to start throwing it. We got to start throwing it. Like, no, let the game fall into your lap, which is very vague of me to say, but yeah, it was just, it just always feels that way. And when Lamar goes out, like he is the one who presses, he is the one who knocks, so to speak. So I guess they try to take on that like personality, but he's a little different. Like he's a little more special. So I think they've struggled to balance out in that regard. And
that's where it feels weird, even like commenting on this game in a serious manner, because it feels like I'm sitting here right now and I feel like we just watched the Week 18 game. It feels like a season just ended, and like hopefully a new and better season will kick up after the bye week. Like you can't even like intellectually say all that much about what just happened. I mean, I think we're right that the defense showed some heart, showed some fight. I think some of the new pieces looked pretty good. Still some issues there, I think. And they did get a little lucky too with some of Stafford's misses and the drops in the first half. But you take your luck when you can get it. And then in the second half, started to heat up a little bit. Some chatter about that 4th down and 2 call or rush 2. I actually liked it in the moment. I know you did as well. He's getting a lot of flack for that, but I think it was a different look. And it was the most low percentage throw that probably Matthew Stafford and like two other guys.
It was in by an ass cheek. He put it in a perfect, I mean,
literally,
of course you argue, well, he was able to have the time to make the perfect.
Yeah,
sure. But I was glad that they didn't get beat by a quick little fucking underneath 2-yard route.
Right. It's like I'd rather they do that thing, just rush 4. And yeah, the guy is just right at the sticks and it's an easy completion. It's at least trying something. Of course it doesn't succeed. So if people want to criticize it, no problem with that at all. But it's like, fuck, man, we're just in a spot where it's like we're grasping at straws to really say anything meaningful. And again, this is just like they're going to have to evaluate some things out of the bye week, make some serious changes to their approach, and hope to God that they can rattle off a bunch in a row here.
Nate Wiggins shadowed Devontae Adams in this game. He aligned across from him on all 27 routes that he ran. So they put Wiggins on him, which was one thing I thought was interesting. Definitely some changes defensively, and what they did today was a little different than what we've seen. Again, I thought they had a really nice plan overall defensively. They were kind of running a two-man sets, like lines in hockey, with two interior defensive linemen, take them out, put the other two back on until Urban went down. So that kind of botched that a little bit. But I thought those guys, they really took it to the Rams front. They really controlled the line of scrimmage, put themselves in some good
push by them. I mean, on that, the interception by Rush, the first turnover of the game, immediately, what do you do on defense that we've been asking you to do? You make a play, you make a splash play. John Jenkins, great job getting in there and not only forcing the fumble, but recovering it. Like, that's the type of thing we've been talking about. Unfortunately, it feels a little too late for this stretch of the season, but that's the type of thing that you're really going to hope is going to hold over for you, because again, like, just the scared mentality, the too high shell, like, play guys 10 yards off the line of scrimmage and just play very kind of base stock defense like that. That's just not going to cut it with the level of talent that you have. So shout out to the few guys that did step up in their moments, stepping up today.
Certainly. Kyle Hamilton, also from Next Gen Stats, in the first game since the Ravens acquired Louque Gilman, Kyle Hamilton did not align as a deep safety on a single snap, instead aligning primarily as a box safety, 29 snaps, and a slot corner, 17 snaps. Next Gen Stats said this was a significant role change for Hamilton, who aligned as a deep safety on 71.7% of his snaps in weeks 1 to 4. Hamilton missed week 5. Hamilton aligned with an average depth from the line of scrimmage of 3.1 yards compared to 9.6 yards in weeks 1 to 4. I really like that a lot. We'll talk about some things, but Tavius Robinson breaks his foot in this game. You are now down to brass tacks beyond. I mean, you're down to the foundation.
Concussion protocol for Brent Urban too. I didn't see what ultimately came of that, but
I think he was okay. I think he had his helmet on at one point. I think he was fine. He tapped on himself. I think he looked like he got his bell rung pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna have either way. They need to acquire players. They're out of guys, so it might be they will make a trade for a player. They will. I would expect it to happen in the next 9 days or so. They will. I just don't know if it's like going to be a conditional 7th for Kingsley Enagbari, or if it's going to be, maybe a 3rd round pick, Yannick Ngakoue type deal.
There's a certain team that played in London today that has a certain guard that I'm a big fan of, and that team is not going anywhere. Let me tell you.
Big John Simpson. Bring all those fellas over. Quinton Williams, Jermaine Johnson.
Run the magic back. Get John Simpson and get a little more nastiness on this offensive line. He could build upon what we saw today.
Sure. And again, I like what I saw from Voorhees. I wasn't able to see much Rosengarten, but I think those guys played well. I guess they have good PFF grades when it comes out tomorrow.
It looked a little more like week 1 with Voorhees. Like, I remember him getting downhill a lot in week 1. I was impressed by him. It feels like it's gone downhill since then. He looked at least better in that facet. I didn't love what I saw in pass protection, my sort of untrained eye, but that's for the tape heads to break down.
A lot of comments, and I mean, there's chants in the stadium for Huntley. We want Huntley. I mean, agree to disagree, have your own opinion, think whatever you want. I don't think it makes a fucking difference if it was Rush or Huntley. They're both wild. They might not
win the game. So I tweeted, like, get Huntley in there after Rush had that really bad miss on the right side to Flowers. I thought Rush was pitiful in this game, just missing throws. Like, the interceptions I can take or leave with a backup quarterback, but he just wasn't moving the ball. And like, they were doing it in the running game, and that's great. But like, the thing with Huntley that I think people are excited about is the scrambling ability, which we saw down the stretch. And we've seen that in stretches when he has played. So that's your argument there. I think it's just kind of doomed. And like, it's why, and I'm not going to act like I was banging this table when it happened, but it's just why the Russ signing was just kind of a weird one in retrospect. Like, yeah, the scheme fits strange. Like, it feels like in square peg round hole type, situation. And like, if you wanted a mobile guy, I probably would have preferred someone different than Huntley, because I just feel like we've seen the ceiling with him and I don't love it. But at the very least, he gives you a little bit of instant offense. John Harbaugh did say after the game he planned to play both of them anyway, which I don't know if I totally buy that, but
that's what had been. Sounds like Huntley was getting first team reps in practice at times.
Okay.
So I do buy some of it, sure, but I just, to me, it's just like they're both wild. Like, both of them have had Rush has had plays where it's 4th down and he fucking tries to fling the ball up and it doesn't even stay in bounds. Huntley did the exact same thing at the end of the game. They are wild. Huntley looked fast. He was fast. He can throw a couple little floaters. He's like the slowest release in the NFL. He can run around and it's good. And I am mad at myself because I do always say, like, have a fast backup quarterback when in doubt because it helps your run game.
Joe
And he
Webb,
did run around and he made some chunks. Was like he took fucking horrible sacks. Still, he looked wild. It didn't look controlled. It wasn't like I think Rush was. And these are the things that people like. You can hate me for saying this. Rush was doing a good job handing the ball off. I was literally messaging you and Cole and was like, oh, he's hitting his spot. He's getting it to Henry while Henry's on the move. He was hitting his landmarks with his action way cleaner. And I think that was a big part of why Henry was able to fucking get going and have vision. The offensive line was better too, but it's like Huntley's been here a couple weeks, like whatever. If you think that that's absolutely fine, I don't think it mattered. I think we would have seen if Huntley had started the game, I think we would have seen weirder plays.
It's a different dynamic.
It would have been more volatile, and
it's a different dynamic too if he starts. I think the Rams maybe were caught off guard when he got in, and like that's where the scrambling is able to open up a little bit. There's nothing really schematically or like data wise to back that up, but it's like you're playing Rush for 2.5 quarters, and then Huntley gets in there all of a sudden. It's just an entirely different type of quarterback that you're going to play. So that might have played into the success overall, and again, this is total Monday morning quarterback stuff, but from what I saw from him versus Rush, and it's not to say Rush is like a bad backup quarterback. It's just a weird fit.
Yeah. I don't know.
I get what you're saying about the handoff. So I think that made a lot of sense. And it did look
whatever. I mean, whatever. I don't think it mattered either way. Huntley could have done a better. Huntley could have opened it up with his legs, and that counterbalances Rush, like operating the run game a little better, maybe. So I don't know. I think they lost. The wind was swirling, and the like figurative wind was swirling, and the Rams were being weird, and the kicker was being weird, and he doinks one, and then he hit some weird little knuckler by accident. It was swirling. You fucking fail on 4th down at the goal line. You fumbled the ball 4 times, and that's what it was. I mean, that's what it is. And the 4th down play call, likely was open, sure, but it was like, brother, fucking jam Derrick Henry. They just. And that again, he had 24 carries. How many does he need? But I don't know, 35. Jam Derrick Henry twice, then jam him 4 times at the goal line, or do the push 4 times. It's like just
if you get into 3rd and manageable.
Accept what you are. Accept that the quarterback's not good. Run the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Accept it. Buy into it.
You're
Stop
not
trying to have this quick game shit.
Yeah, and you're not even getting into 3rd and manageable all that often. So when you do get there, you gotta cherish it, man. You have to you're right, lean into who you are. It just feels very incongruous. I think it's felt incongruous at times, even with Lamar, this season, where it kind of felt like, oh man, we're this big power running team, and we're gonna, run it down their throat. We're gonna, do a lot of inside stuff, and they were just getting stonewalled. And it's like the point we've been making the last couple of weeks. It's like, no, they're actually a light, agile, kind of more finesse type team, a finesse bitch team, if you will. And they're just still trying to play the smash mouth, ground and pound type deal. And then they actually looked like that today, and they tried to go back to the finesse bitch stuff. And yeah, it just feels like total identity crisis mode. Identity theft is not a joke, Jim, but it was today for the Ravens.
Yeah. And again, it was a scrappy loss, and they had a chance, and it felt better, and you feel a little better about your defense and all that stuff, and it's fine. You're 1-5. So gotta go 8-3.
Yeah, we're eulogizing a season right now.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta go 8-3. You gotta go 8-3, right? You gotta win 9 games.
It's a whole
done that. It's kind of feels like hey, to be optimistic, 2021, they started 8-3, I believe, and then went 8-9, right? So now you're 1-5. Can you swing it the other way by 1 game?
There's your Huntley data point. I think he won 1 game that year, and then he went 0 for 6 down the stretch. So
yeah.
Hopefully, I guess it's a bizarro version of that, but I don't know. I mean, I will say, I said I wanted to see some fight. I said I wanted to see the trenches on both sides of the ball show something, and they did today. So that helps, but Jesus Christ, man, you better hope it holds up over a long stretch where you have no margin for error.
Yeah, and you're still beat up. I mean, now you don't have Robinson. You got rid of Owe, and you don't have Matabike. Washington's still hurt, so there's four guys out in your front. Roquan Smith hasn't been playing, so hammies don't get good. You don't have a bad hammy and then a great hammy. I'll tell you that.
I don't think 3 weeks of rest is totally gonna. He's not gonna have a full giddy up. Even
they're literally like a different. I'm a donkey and they're a thoroughbred horse, and it's different in that regard. But I mean, I don't think that hammy's gonna feel good. Maybe ever again. Hammies are terrible. Any hammy survivors out there, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to, we can talk about plays, things like that, Nate Wiggins, whatever. I don't know, but it's going to come down to like, what are they going to do during the bye personnel wise? They're going to sign someone, probably two people. They're probably going to sign two veteran floating defensive linemen, insert name here's. They're probably going to make a trade, I would think. I would think they start with like a conditional 7th or something that could turn into a 6th for a warm body, not just a body, but a nice warm body. And again, like we can beat the dead horse of saying, like, if there's someone available that's an impact player that specifically plays 3 tech or is an outside linebacker that's good against the run, go get him, because you need it next year and you're going to need it the year after. And if you want a rookie to do it, good luck. Like, it's a fucking crapshoot. So yeah, I don't know. There's been some weirdness. I don't know, but all I know at this point is that, like, we've watched several games where there's no Lamar Jackson and they can't score points. So they aren't scheming it up, man. Plain and simple. They're not creative enough in the red zone, or they aren't able to execute at a high enough level. Like, it's not one or the other. It's not like, oh, you needed to have something creative. It was, not only do you need to have something creative, but you didn't. So you needed to execute the simple shit at the 1 yard line and you couldn't. So that's bad. That's inept organization. Like, that's ineptitude as an organization. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be, oh, they shouldn't have tried to tush push. They should have tried play action, or they should just fucking either do something creative or execute the simple stuff. And they couldn't do either. They couldn't conjure something up. I mean, they took a timeout for Monken on 4th and 2. They took a timeout and then they run a fucking shotgun snap. And it's just like a fucking quick pass concept. It's like, can't you get them into a look? Couldn't you have worked the Rams into a look? Couldn't you have figured out how to get a rub route in? Couldn't you have figured out how to run mesh even, or like a dirty mesh and get some, like Mark Andrews or one of them running like at the first down
best tight ends, the best tight end duo in the league. And you can't, like,
couldn't you have swung? Couldn't you? I mean, anything, literally anything, some creative little reverse pivot, Zay Flowers runs behind and you hand the ball to Isaiah Likely or shovel past Isaiah Likely or just anything. No, they just are like, we're going to run quick game. It feels like fucking, I keep thinking like these guys are playing Madden, man. Like, it feels like when I play Madden and I like know there's a pass concept I like and I know what the read's going to be. So I'll run that on 4th down. But it's like, it's 4th and 2. What's your best shit? We're going to call timeout and get our best shit. And it's not having Derrick Henry on the field. It's depending on Cooper Rush to make a read. It's depending on Cooper Rush. And yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I don't think it's Tyler Huntley or Cooper Rush. I think it's, you're asking them to play a stock fucking quick game and hand the ball off. And it's just, they're not good.
And if you want to get super creative, like, do a fucking Philly special or something. Don't like do the kind of creative thing. Either do
Crochet throw a pick, man. I don't care.
Yeah, right. Like, do you get super wild with it? Like, I don't know. They're stuck between release patterns right now.
Yeah. So it's cross wires. They're at a crossroads going into this bye.
They said a prayer when they called that timeout from Black Daniels.
Yeah, Black Daniels here, taking a timeout to say a prayer. I mean, what are we doing? Why are you calling a timeout there? And then how are you not having something that is, you need something that is quarterback proof, Todd. Like, it needed to be a call where there wasn't a read, is what I'm getting at. It needed to be something where it is, you have blinders on your quarterback. You've got Rush is a horse and he can't see anything and he doesn't have to do anything. Take the ball out of his fucking hands. You have playmakers. Zay Flowers is a playmaker. Isaiah Likely is a playmaker. I think Mark Andrews is not what he once was, but he's a little bit of a playmaker. Hopkins is a playmaker. Bateman has been just fucking evaporated in this offense this year. Sure, that's the other thing. Like, at the end of the game, Garnett here says throw an 80-20 ball to Hopkins. They started doing it. They started isolating him. They got the one PI, and he caught the ball. Like, should have just been spamming him. He looks physical. He looks outstanding, really. I mean, able to draw PIs and fighting through contact. He's only had like a couple that he's been unable to get a positive result out of. So, I don't know. I just don't understand why you're not putting the blinders on the quarterback, running the piss out of the ball. Somebody here in the comment too. And again, the Chiefs playbook is Andy Reid's playbook, and Andy Reid is probably the best play caller in the world or the best construct of offense. But it's like, it needs to be a little more in that direction. It needs to be a little more like shovel passy, a little bit more wing tee looking, a little bit more like
the Mickey Mouse
blinders on the quarterback and not asking him to go through a progression or do some like stock shit.
Yeah, the Mickey Mouse stuff of theirs that I hate and I think is an affront to football, but I mainly hate it because it just absolutely drives a dagger into my personal rib cage every time they do it. Like it's very effective. So yeah, maybe you could take a cue or two from that.
The other thing I'll say about Cooper Rush too, Cooper Rush, he was in the Cowboys organization for what, 6 years?
Yeah, long time.
I don't think he started a game until like year 4 or 5 there. So he wasn't taking, the reps he got there over time probably felt a lot better than here with Lamar Jackson. And it's, Lamar Jackson's offense is a different beast than what you're running with Dak Prescott. So I think it makes sense that he hasn't played well yet. And I don't know, like you can fire him into the sun. I don't care, backup quarterback, whatever. But man, it's just, they're just waiting on Lamar. This is the year where it's like really horrible that they're just waiting on Lamar.
Yeah,
and they're waiting on Lamar.
Waiting all day for Lamar Jackson.
Waiting for Lamar. That can be the title of the episode. Waiting on Lamar. That's what the Ravens are doing. That's what their offense is doing. That's what the organization's doing. That's what the city's doing. Everybody's just waiting on Lamar. And that's bad. It's bad. It's very bad. It's no good. It's dirty. It's rotten. It's stinky. And you can take the moral victory. You can't really take the moral victory out of this game because you got so thoroughly shellacked last week. It's the sting of that. And then you lost by 14 and you couldn't score a touchdown. How many times were they on the fucking Rams side of the field? Like 4, 5? Came away with 3 points out of it. So I don't know. I don't blame some guys on this team have taken, like Ronnie Stanley's taking a pay cut. Pat Ricard's taking a pay cut. I don't blame these guys for being a little disinterested after they just had to go do this rigmarole bullshit last year with, we got to come back and beat the Steelers and we've underachieved. So yeah. Garnett's just on one tonight. He says not to be an anime nerd, but literally this is the equivalent of Goku showing up when everyone's already damn near dead.
Yeah,
it is
the Kingdom Hearts limit break. Just go wild on their ass. But again, a bit of an indictment organizationally if that's what you're just relying on. And every organization with a quarterback like that is to an extent, but Jesus Christ, they've been exposed in his absence.
Waiting on Lamar. So I don't know. People are going to debate Huntley and Rush, and I get all of that. That's the game that happened today, and they switched, and Huntley was able to run around. Whatever. It's just their offense is all more like, I feel like what Joe Brady has in Buffalo, I feel like Mitch Trubisky could run that a little better. And he's been there for a couple of years now, and he's a first-round quarterback that started a lot of games. So again, it's not apples to apples, but I don't know. No, I guess end my long-winded point. I haven't seen anything inspiring without Lamar Jackson on offense. Yeah. The offensive line played a little better. And to me, that reflects of your offensive coaching staff and the preparation you did in training camp. And I think there's viable reasons why you can say, like I just said, Cooper Rush was in Dallas for years before he started and felt more comfortable there, I'm sure. Look at the guy. He fucking is always wearing his hat straight and wears camo. He's a fucking Texas, fit right in down there. So, yeah. At this point, I don't know. Fumbled the ball a million times. Defense looks a little better. You got some safeties now that you don't feel like shit about. You can CJ. I'm never going to get that. Chauncey Gardner-Green Johnson. CJ. That one, I can't do that one. CJ. It's not smooth letters in a row. Sorry, Chauncey.
Cooper Rush, by the way, shout out to our guy, big content guy on Twitter, who before the season compared Cooper Rush in Baltimore to Mr. Presbolewski from The Wire. Might have turned out to be the perfect comparison. Just an odd fit. Maybe getting into some weird stuff when he's off the clock. Who knows?
Roland, good old Roland. Just watch that season. So I don't know, man. Like I think I tweeted it 2 weeks ago. Like, hey, you got the Texans and the Rams coming to town, and no Lamar, and you got a bunch of guys hurt. You're probably gonna be 1-5, and here you are. Here you are. You're 1-5. So at this point, like the Fire Harbaugh crowd is as loud as it gets, as loud as it'll ever get. And here you go, Johnny boy. Here you go. We've spent 7 years talking about John Harbaugh, you and I, Jake. Here you go, John. Here is your greatest work or your biggest failure. You're 1-5. You just had to get this team motivated last year after a tough start, and you're down a lot of soldiers. And here you go, buddy. Here's your fucking
and like
here's your 300 Spartans.
Nothing is going to ever end that conversation unless he were to win a Super Bowl, and even that might not end it. And guess what? The best you can do this year in the regular season is 12-5. I don't think that's getting you an easy route through the playoffs, even if you were managing to get there. So we're in a tough spot right now with John.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't go if they don't win 8 games from this point until the end of the season, he's gone. He has to be gone. It's too long-winded. And I know a lot of people started to say the thing, and it's just simply true. Like they haven't. This is year 7 of Lamar full-time starter. As long as we've been doing it, this is year 7 for us, I think, right? 6.
Yeah, 7.
Year 7 for us. So no head coach and quarterback have ever broken through and won a Super Bowl after 7 years that hasn't already done it. Like Brady had the lull between, but it is time now. Unless he can be miraculous and be spectacular, and you put the Johnny face up. You had what is the iconic painting that you did of him? The
Scream, Edvard.
The Scream.
Yeah.
The Scream. I love the John Harbaugh face, and I'm so tired of people. Whatever, do whatever. Make your memes however you want. I don't give a fuck what his face looks like, but it is. Alex Rita says makes funny faces. He does. It is funny.
It's good content. I mean, you can't deny that. Which, as a listener, I could see why that doesn't mean as much to you, but for us, it's fantastic.
We've been making fun of it for so long. I just don't care anymore. I don't know, man. Out of words, really, but they were able to stop the run. That could inspire some hope. I thought the Rams were going to be able to run some duo. They didn't have the big fella at tackle in this one, so that evened things out a little bit more. But it's Eric's turn. It's Eric's turn right now, and then it's John's turn. And you got a week off. Lick your wounds. You're in the AFC North. The AFC North is the worst division in football. The Steelers are doing their classic shit. What are they? 4-1, 5-1?
I think they're 5-1 after today.
Jesus Christ. Whatever. I hope they go to the AFC Championship and lose.
I hope they do too, and I hope that really gets everyone bought in on that Aaron Rodgers experience. And yeah, they can take a victory lap on this season if they want to. It's not really registering for me, if we're being honest.
Dylan Grant says, at least the Ravens showed some life today. It wasn't the prettiest, but it looks so much better than last Sunday. Yeah. I will say that. Like I screamed on this podcast on Thursday. I was like, if you show up in the first quarter and get blown the fuck out, like you're done. You're done. And that didn't happen. They were organized. They had game plans on both sides of the ball that were opponent specific. Garnett was talking about they were running outside zone a little bit. The quarterback sucked. Should you have maybe run Henry 40 times? Sure. No one, I don't know. That's just classic, like old man screaming into the fucking clouds. But yeah, I mean, it was better. The effort was better. They had more guys back. They had a lot more guys. Marlon Humphrey's play. I'll say this. Marlon Humphrey's play on Puka too. Hopefully Puka's okay. Hopefully Marlon's okay. I think he walked off late, was with a trainer. He needs a bye week pretty bad. But that was a fucking spectacular play he made on Puka. He dominated him at the catch point. Whenever with Marlon, truly, there is no bigger player than Marlon Humphrey of just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. He will always bring the intensity and say what you want about Marlon and his podcast and all that stuff. But he will genuinely play with his hair on fire, smacking himself in the face until he, hangs up the boots. So yeah, TJ Tampa was a couple comments. TJ Tampa, the worst thing TJ Tampa did today, I think it was the longest run of the day.
Yeah.
Kyron bounced and he took the worst. It was so bad. Worst angle. It was right on him. He was definitely the mark today. And he's a young corner. Corners get better over time. He had injuries last year. He's still very inexperienced, but he was the mark today. And got him a couple times. So that was bad. That was very bad.
Yeah, that was, like I said in the chat, that might have been the worst angle I've literally ever seen. I don't know what he was looking at. But yeah, again, like I'll say for him, I'll say for this entire team, it feels like a season has ended. Hopefully this was the season of reaping. And after the bye, it will be a season of sowing. But only time will tell. I've got my concerns.
I'll say one final thought here. Just
I got that wrong, by the way. It should have been sowing and then reaping, but continue.
There we go. Yeah. My one final thought as well is like, I just come out of this bye with Isaiah Likely going ape shit. Like the foot bothered him. Lamar's a little banged up. They've got a nice connection. Come out of this bye with Isaiah Likely being the impact player over the middle of the field for you. He is so physical. He is what you want to epitomize as a football team offensively. I think he brings the juice. He brings the noise. If that foot's going to get some time to heal up, see if you can get Lamar and Isaiah Likely going second half of the season. The Ravens' remaining schedule, it really is not so bad. The Bears, who I think are a very underrated football team and might be making the playoffs, I think it's a tough one, but you are coming out of the bye and should be as healthy as you can be. Hopefully Eric goes and gets someone. Short turnaround, coming off the bye, you go play the Dolphins, who have just pissed on themselves all year long, worse than the Ravens, with not a great bill of health, but not as bad as the Ravens. Bears, Dolphins, at Vikings, at Browns, home for the Jets, home for the Bengals, home for the Steelers, at the Bengals, at the Patriots, at the Packers, at the Steelers. Patriots are at home, at Packers, at Steelers there. So playoff team-wise, I mean, I'll say the Patriots are a playoff team. I'll say the Steelers are a playoff team. And then probably one of the I'll say the Bears maybe. So you play like you're not playing any head honchos. What scary quarterback is left? Like there's not one. So you've got the best quarterback in every game you play and win, man. Go out. Go get the players. Go make the trades. Like this is an organization that has so much pride. I think if they don't make moves now with the bye week, I think if they don't go overpay for an impact player, if there's one available, if there is someone who is moved on the defensive front to another team, I usually don't knock one team for not, there's 32 teams, can't trade for everybody. If there is a player moved that is a fucking 3-tech, that is a Pro Bowl, 8-sack, good run defender, and you don't get him, you fucked up real bad. Real bad, I think. So it's time to overpay. It's time to spend a first-round pick or a second-round pick or multiple picks and acquire that player. You have to do it now. I think now. Schefter tweeted, he said he expects like 2 or 3 players to be traded every week. He said there's a lot of injuries. Teams have been talking early already and are more delighted by the trade deadline being a little more enthused by the trade deadline being a little bit later by a touch. And there's been an increase in talks. There's been a bunch of names already getting floated around. So a lot of that shit is like them being, chatterbugs for the agents. But if there is someone moved and you don't get him, the front office has made a mistake. I will put it that way. Everyone keeps saying the tank. Like, what? No.
Like if you want to root that way, you go to it. I literally could not bring myself to do it. Again, I'll look back at 2015. There were like meaningless games that if they lost, it would have made much more sense. I could not bring myself to root against them. And I want Harbaugh gone at this point, but I cannot. I don't fan that way. If you want to fan that way,
I just don't think it's a good if Lamar Jackson is playing healthy enough to play and you're like trying to no. I mean, you gotta push. I think
it's like if you feel that way, like you'll probably still find yourself rooting for them, but you can justify and rationalize losses a lot easier, so that you can take that as a comfort. Like that's probably.
I don't know why, but people keep saying this too. Like I don't know what you're talking about. They basically played the Lions, the Chiefs, the Bills. They beat the shit out of the Browns. They scored a lot of points against the Lions. They were in the Chiefs game until the second half. Everybody started dropping like flies in that game. And sure, they didn't play great in Kansas City. They could have won the Lions game very, very well if they didn't fumble. They should have won the Bills game. I don't know why people keep saying that. I don't really understand that perspective. What you think they're a 5-win team with Lamar on the field? No, you're fucking crazy. They just had a hard schedule. I don't know. They would easily win one of these games with Lamar. They're absolutely not 1-5 with Lamar healthy in these games. No fucking shot. If the Rams came in here, Lamar's under center, no fucking shot. If they played like that, all tired and letting the Ravens run the ball on them, no fucking shot. They were like number 2 in EPA offensively. They're scoring over 30 points a game. I think you're insane. The defense had some struggles late in Buffalo, took their foot off the gas. Absolutely. The fumble, I'm just going to keep going back to that fumble. They would have been fine if they didn't fucking touchdown. Here's the ball back, touchdown. Like they gave it right back at the 20-yard line. That is what spurned it off. So I don't really get that. I think they're good. They're good in DVOA. They're scoring a lot of points. Their defense is having some struggles. Whatever. They might have been 2-4 at worst. They're certainly not 1-5. I mean, it's
the offense. The offense was definitely good. I can understand concerns about the defense, but hey, they looked about as good as they have all season today against a very good offense. So I don't know. It's a living, breathing thing. Maybe they can turn it around. But offense,
you don't have to tank. But why speculatively spend money this year? Why not save the money and using during free agency? You don't save money in free agency. You have to bid against other teams. So you get the possession of the franchise tag if needed, which opens players up to extensions. I mean, we've seen.
I think it's also like using as we talked about, I think it's also like using your top picks on more of a sure thing. Like they just keep saying like, oh, we'll just plug a first rounder in and like, that'll be a starter. And it's like, I get it's cost controlled and all that, but it's like, it's not a sure thing. And it's not a sure thing they're going to be great as much as
somebody. Who is going to be in free agency? Who's saving the day in free agency? You can do both. Guess what? You can still sign free agents.
It's not our money.
Who is there going to be like, if there is any realm of a high impact player available via trade, you don't have to bid. You can acquire the player from the team. You don't open yourself up to the lottery of it, and you can still hit free agency. But your first round pick, unless they do, and maybe Lamar says maybe his hamstring's not good, and maybe they do lose to the Bears, and they're like, fuck it, putting him on IR. Maybe I think that's a non-zero chance. I think there is a chance. And maybe then sure, and keep your pick and have a high pick. And, maybe they do go draft a cornerstone player. Maybe they do get Ruben Baines out of Miami, and maybe he is the pass rusher they've always wanted. Maybe. I'm not banking on that. I wouldn't bank on that. Like Abdul Carter's a very good pass rusher. Is he winning the Giants games right now? Fuck no. Rookies don't make impact. So it's like, if you want to try to win a Super Bowl while Lamar is still in his prime, in these next 2-3 years, like, and relatively in good health, go get a sure thing. Go buy the pass rusher. It's also just the reason I'm saying it too is because they haven't done it. It's the thing that they haven't done. They have spent on the back end. They've spent in the secondary, and I mean, you gotta switch it up. You gotta switch it up. You gotta go get a player. You can still spend in free agency. Free agency is for your mistakes, and you have to go bid against other teams. I just go get the guy now, see if he can make a run, make the playoffs, win a Super Bowl. I mean, crazier shit's happen.
As the Lions throw a touchdown pass from, I think that was Montgomery to Jared Goff to go up 7-0 on the Chiefs. Very nice. Or maybe they might have called it back. Huh? I just saw a creative play on offense, and it got my juices flowing a little bit.
There you go. I mean, it's just not the Ravens. They just don't act like that. We got Prochet throwing a pick, and that's about it. Kwame B, good rookies make an impact. How many? Kyle Hamilton is a fucking amazing player. He wasn't a high impact player in year one, I wouldn't say. He was turned into a good player, but give me Quinnen Williams over insert rookie name here. Like if that is available. Like good rookies make an impact. Yes. How many? 7, 10? Defensively on the defensive line? Who's the last like really good 3-tech that came in as a rookie and was dominant in year one? Aaron Donald, I think, had 10 sacks over a decade ago. There's been a couple that are like impactful, but if you can go get a cornerstone 3-tech because you just lost yours, who might have a career-ending injury, I think you should do that. Sure, Jalen Carter. There's one. That's probably the best defensive player in the last 5 years in college football. And he fell because of off-the-field stuff. And sure, Jalen Carter would be very nice. He was really good against the Ravens as a rookie. Was that his rookie year? Or was that his second year last year? That was his second year.
Yeah.
He's in year 3. Kyle Hamilton and Jordan Davis are in year 4. Yeah.
And hey, the Ravens took a gamble on a character guy in the second round who was a top 15 talent, and he's not quite flashing right now.
Garnett, Von Miller. They traded for Von Miller. He went fucking ape shit. They got OBJ. Those guys propelled them to a Super Bowl. Owe got a sack today. Yeah, he got a sack on a boot where the tight end sealed him inside, and he ran and took down two. It was completely outside of the pocket. Why are the forward perception says, why aren't we being creative like the Lions? Because the Lions are more creative, and Dan Campbell's a better offensive mind. That's why. Dan Campbell's a better offensive mind than the Ravens have on their staff.
So it's tight ends.
Jared Verse had 4.5 sacks as a rookie. He was good, though. He was good, and he was impactful.
Yeah, there are examples. I mean, we're just saying, like,
it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not going to be enough. Whoever you need. So you're not going to have a 3-tech playing at a Hall of Fame level. Like, there's Peter Woods is the top guy. You get Peter Woods. You think he's the Super Bowl winner next year? He's the one that takes you over the top? I don't think so. So, yeah, we've been going on a while now, 56 minutes. Sunday Night Football's on. We've done a lot. And, yeah, I guess we can get out of here. We'll do bye-week stuff. Make a trade. Go fucking make a trade. You have to. They're going to. And that's that.
I think Tutu is just as dissatisfied, displeased as we are.
Yeah, so let's hit it.
All right. Appreciate you as always, my guy. Appreciate everyone hanging out in the comments with us and everyone listening after the fact. If you liked what you heard, subscribe to us here on YouTube. Leave a like and a comment. Get the algorithm pumping. You can find us on social media at XM52 Podcast across X, Instagram, TikTok. You can find us on X at Jake Louque. That is LOUQUE. Spenny at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4. Brian at Barstool Banks. Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10. Those guys getting back from a nice weekend at the Captain's Cup. I think we'll have them back next week. Eric at EDI TTI 22. Like I said, season's over. Start of a new season. May we all rejoice. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys again in a few days.
See ya.
Arrivederci.